pleasure to be here with you. This is a people's movement, although our foe is heavily funded with dark money. And by the way, I mean, outspend like 10 to 1. But our money's right here in the room. You can't buy the vote. You can't buy the people. They can try, but it's not going to work. I'm looking around the room here. I mean, I'm just really humble and thankful for your support, for taking time out on a Saturday, and a beautiful Saturday come out here. I mean, it's a fact. Here's facts, since the media won't tell you the truth, because most of the media is rooting for the other team. And I know media outlets trying to get to Josh Shapiro's events. He announces them late when they go only about, if they find it, about 12 people show up. You can't draw flies in a garbage dump. He's operating with the Biden basement policy. He really is. Crawls at his hole, insults me and my military service every day. The guy is a despicable human being, because if he's attacking a 30-year vet, then what does he think about your service, right? So he's a typical politician, and I've been with them where they want photo ops on Veterans Day with us, but they pat us on the head and say, go away. And so we have no place. Pennsylvania is one of the most patriotic states in the Union, and definitely the most patriotic this side of the Mason-Dixon line. It's true. I think on average, roughly about 2% of the entire nation has ever worn a uniform, and about 6 or 7% of those are in Pennsylvania nationwide. It's incredible. 800,000 veterans or so, I mean, roughly speaking here. So, pushing 1 million veterans in a state of 13 million, that's incredible. So Pennsylvanians, if you're a veteran or you're a family member, I mean, Josh Shapiro is not your guy. He has disdain for your service. He placates us on our day, Veterans Day or Memorial Day, but then it goes around and mocks veterans and denigrates our service. I mean, the only service that I know he has for his country is maybe one time at the country club his avocado toast was burnt. He didn't complain about it. I don't know. We're thrilled to be in Lancaster County. The county is filled with wise and discerning people, because the primary was pretty tough and contentious, most contentious since 1978. And in that election, Dick Thornburg won with only 33% of the vote. My goal was at least let's get that, because we're being criticized that there's a lot of disdain for a people's grassroots movement. I don't get it from the traditional media, from politicians. They said our ceiling's 20%. Election day comes around and we beat. No one's close to us. I mean, real clear. The other polls had me losing for the longest time. We won by 22% of the vote. It wasn't even close. Beautiful. In Lancaster County, you gave me a huge margin, 33% over the next guy, which is beautiful. You chose wisely. we what's that? We don't clap. I love you, man. That is fantastic. Something that it's been a wild ride. I'm looking around the room of people that we met during the shutdown at the reopen rallies, and I have to recognize somebody, because in the room here is the father of the reopen movement, Matt Bellis. Please get up, brother. Come on. Matt's first rally back in April, just like a month after the shutdown, almost a month exactly, actually. And I'm out there doing my first live as a senator, and almost 1 million views. And you had the entire steps full. That's before Wolf put his barricades up. The steps are full. They're down the street. There must have been 9,000 or 10,000 people easily. It was around the block. Hardly any media showed up. They'll show up if 4 or 5 of their people, the crazies on their side show up, at my office down in Chambersburg with protest signs, and we have a comment on that. But they'll ignore a rally. It's historic. And this movement really was, I would say, many ways birthed with that, together with the fireside chats, and it just kind of fused things together. And we walked through some dark times together. It was a dark time. There was several rallies held, of course, to try to free those locked in the homes to die after 400 days, thanks to Levine. Anyone miss Levine? If that was a Republican with a science-denying policy that factually resulted in the deaths of thousands of people, that person would have been crucified. But since it's a Democrat, Woman of the Year. I'm not making it up. And of course, Levine realized a few weeks after that destructive policy, instead of being a decent human being and coming out, you know what, Pennsylvania? A bad decision was made and get your loved ones out. Nope, snuck mommy out, but your moms and dads, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters left to die alone. And that was heartbreaking. And there was 2 rallies we held on the steps, and only a few media showed up because it didn't help their team. I mean, it's just so blatantly biased. The questions I get from the other side are right off of Josh Shapiro's page. You know, you renounced this latest accusation. Are you like kidding me? Who would answer folly and foolishness? Who tolerates that? Do your jobs. Pennsylvania cares about crime. They care about inflation. They care about their kids' education. And not these stupid little name-calling games from Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro has a six-year record as the Attorney General. And you notice I have not heard one question from the traditional mainstream media asking him about, his failure and incompetence and his lack of fitness for office as the Attorney General. He's failed the people of the state. People have died because he's incompetent. He owns crime and law and order, and he's done nothing about it. And you can't make this stuff up. I mean, the guy is detached from reality, and since he's not held accountable by the media, I have to talk about his record. But for this individual 2 weeks ago to say, tweet, we need to do something about crime in Pennsylvania. I'm like, dude, where the heck have you been for 6 years? Are you kidding me? If you haven't done it in 6 years, buddy, it ain't gonna happen. And we know he has trouble finishing a job. He's got a terrible record as commissioner raising taxes. As a House rep, he even refused, he was with a handful of radicals in the House, to even vote on any protections for abortion clinics after the horrors of Gosnell came out. He came out, so with him at the time, there was more, it's true, facts. Facts are stubborn things. But, so name calling, the guy is dodging debates. We're all like day 78 of me challenging for debate. And I was on his page today. I said, Josh, just grow a pair and meet me in Manheim today. A box to stand on, it's okay. And he can even bring Donna Brazil with the questions and answers in her pocket. He's not going to come. He's dodging me like Katie Hobbs is dodging Carrie Lake in Arizona. The chicken man. You see we have the endorsement of Carrie Lake from Arizona? The border crisis brought to you by the Democrat Party in this nation at the federal and state level here. They own this horror coming across the border. They own and are responsible for the sex trafficking happening of women kidnapped in Latin America and held as sex slaves in Pennsylvania. Rebbe helped a lady in Chambersburg. It's happening in our cities. It's happening in Lancaster. And Josh Shapiro doesn't care. What has he done to help crack down on sex trafficking? We have fentanyl deaths that have affected most families in this state, 12 to 15 deaths a day. People stuck in the web of addiction, and Shapiro and Wolf don't care. They haven't. I say that because what have they done to try to help? They've cut off the faith-based organizations from helping those from state funds, which I'm told by those who were addicted and were delivered because of faith-based organizations in Philadelphia, a 70% recovery rate as opposed to the 30% recovery rates in the state ones. So they're doing nothing to help the people of Pennsylvania. So when Rebbe and I were talking to Carrie Lake, I said, you know what? We are a border state too, even though we're thousands of miles away from Mexico. And I have the second, as governor, and we're gonna win. I said, I have the second largest National Guard. And if you want some help down there on the border, we're coming. Sneak Sleepy Joe and Wolf won't do anything about it. Pennsylvania will once again rise to the occasion to safeguard our nation from this invasion. Invasion of drugs from China. It's a third opium war. Look at our history there. And it's being waged against our people. China is waging a war with us through pharmaceuticals, through fentanyl. It's a plague upon our houses, and it needs to end. In Pennsylvania, under Governor Mastriano, we'll be waging war against this destructive policy, this failed policy of the Biden administration. So, aside from name-calling and dodging debates, Josh Shapiro claims he's a champion of women's rights. How can that even be when he can't define a woman? It's true. Yep. I love this crowd here, man. We're among our friends and allies. I keep threatening Rebbe I'm going to buy a wig one of these days. I might look slightly better than Levine, maybe not. But to lay out how the Republicans are the modern-day feminists, please give it up for the next First Lady of Pennsylvania, Rebbe Mastriano.
And to quote my husband, oh yeah. So they want to distract, but you know what? We carry the torch on women's rights, people. First off, and most importantly, we believe in a woman's right to be born. We believe in a woman's right to have a say in their child's education. We believe in a woman's right to access baby formula and affordable groceries for her family.